Thanks, Karthikeya sir. First and foremost, I would like to express my gratitude to the Indian Armed Forces for being on the border, serving us so well, so that we can continue with our daily lives. And now I shall be starting on my use case, which is financial modeling using generative AI. Now, financial modeling for most of us is a very vast term. It includes dashboarding, it includes certain assessments, it includes making a forecast financial statements, it includes making cash flows. So what is the problem statement that I'm trying to kind of solve in next 10 minutes? Now, traditional financial modeling, which we all would have done in some point in time, either while pursuing CA final or in our articleship or in our day-to-day jobs, is it's time consuming, manual, and it requires very advanced knowledge, understanding of Excel coding, so on and so forth. Now with Chat GPT coming, which is basically a generative AI processing, how can we use no code, low effort financial modeling where just by the power of our prompts, we can not only capture the historical data, but also look at the various factors which were way too tough to get included in a normal assessment. But with the power of Chat GPT, with the power of generative AI, we are able to do work which was being done in hours or rather days in just few minutes, which I'll be showing you how. So before starting with my use case of showing you the prompts that I have used, I'll just give a quick one-liners on the key terms. First being generative AI. Now, what logic does generative AI works on? These are computer algorithms that mimic human intelligence by using past data. So a basic one-liner on generative AI. Now, since I'm talking about financial modeling, so financial modeling is about telling stories with numbers. How can I put numbers into a form and shape that it tells us stories? It helps us in decision making, and it's not just analyzing the existing data, but with generative AI, we can create new insights and projections using mammoth knowledge, mammoth data that we have. And I'm just going to show you in the next minute how do we do that. Now, one of the key aspects of using generative AI is prompt engineering, which means to get a good answer, learn to ask a good question. The more precise, the more detailed our prompt is, the easier it will become for us to get the desired results out of generative AI. Now, before starting with my use case, I would just like to show you a very common site to all the participants, I believe, all the people attending the session. This is a plain vanilla financial statements, as I can call it. Has a balance sheet, it has a profit and loss for past 3 years, it has a cash flow statement, and it has a segment sheet. Of course, we add notes to accounts to this, but largely the structure of our financial statements, whenever we share it with our clients for that matter, or if we are in industry with our boss, is more or less this. But what if I tell you in next 7 to 8 minutes, we can convert this data into a financial model, which is like this, where dynamic dashboards are being created for future forecast, where I'm assessing, is my marketing strategy aggressive, when it's going to be moderate, when it's going to be no marketing at all, how it impacts my revenue, my profitability, so on and so forth. Now, how I was able to do this? Simply through the power of Chat GPT. So I've run these prompts and I'll be walking you through each and every prompt. Wherever you feel like that this particular prompt is relevant for you, I would request you to keep, all the participants who are interested, to keep a note of the prompts, to keep a Word file open. You can screenshot the prompt and paste it. Now, the first thing is that whenever we start with financial modeling, we have to clean the data, we have to validate the data. So I just clicked here, uploaded the basic Excel version of financial statement, which was not even as per Ind AS. And I asked Chat GPT, I commanded it, to be precise, that you are a financial analyst, clean, validate, and structure this 3-year financial statements as per India's format, and identify any data gaps or any inconsistencies. So the first process of financial modeling is to ensure that my data is validated, is checked. And it started cleaning the balance sheet, cleaning the profit and loss, cleaning the cash flow statements. These were the validity checks done, whether total assets are equal to liabilities and equity or not, whether the net profit from P&L is matching cash flow or not, if there is any missing or inconsistent data. And then there was a follow-up question, that should I proceed with validation and gap analysis? I just said yes, go ahead. And then there was another follow-up question. So I asked GPT to do all the checks which it's doing on its own to validate my data. And eventually I got the answer that the validation results shown are largely correct. There are no major inconsistencies found in my data. So the first step for financial modeling is cleaning of data, which is done by just one master prompts and then communicating with ChatGPT. Now comes the major part. So when we talk about financial modeling, it's about predicting future, right? It's about forecasting things. Now, to be honest, when we have to, and let's just say none of us is a master, expert in financial modeling. Let's just say we are chartered accountants with good knowledge of financial modeling, but not the different models used and different, types of financial modeling in that. How do we use that? Now, I ask you all, I give you next 30 seconds to chat in the question box or in the chat box. What all considerations will you have in your mind, or will you try to include in making a simple projection of profit and loss and cash flow statement? We generally use 8%, 10% as a standard, inflation rate, as we can call. So feel free to use the chat box. I believe my chat GPT is visible, right? There's no change in the screen. Yeah, it is. So what I did was that I created this master prompt for financial modeling, which states you are an expert in financial modeling, develop an extensive financial model for the financials attached, keeping the format similar to the financial statement, use historical data, macro trends, generate 5-year revenue for each segment. So there are different segments for that balance sheet, as I showed you. The company is into apparels, footwear, and accessories. Incorporate inflation rates and income elasticity of my consumer. Not just this, I even asked for the cash flow forecasting to include macro variables and internal investing activities, financing activities, assumptions. And the very soul of any financial model. All right. So the very soul of any financial model is the assumptions used, the data that we use to make certain assumptions. Now with Chat GPT, this becomes the game. With generative AI, this becomes the game that I can use a lot of data on a single click with this very prompt that based on a web data, provide latest figures for India's inflation, per capita disposable income, retail consumption index, government policy announcements, which affect my client. Now, this particular prompt can be used as the master prompt and it can be updated based on the industries our client work in, right? Not just this, I also asked in the assumption to use key financial ratios and 5-year trends, past 5-year trends of major Indian
last 2 minutes
retailers using NEC listed companies and reference. And there how this is the level of research that ChatGPT showed me. It showed me macroeconomics indicators, per capita disposable income, retail growth consumption. These all are getting included in my assessment. Industry benchmarks, revenue versus cost projections, cash flow forecast, deliverables. So these were the final deliverables that ChatGPT offered me. It was a financial model, a dashboard, and a documentation in PDF form. Now, I would like to state my users that based on my experience of working with ChatGPT, it's not great to convert into an Excel dashboard. It's good if we run the macros, it kind of takes it there in the Excel as it is. But for uh, good dashboarding, we are having more and advanced, much more advanced tools in the form of Microsoft Copilot, which helps us integrate with the Excel and helps us do the dashboarding. Now, just by these commands that are following, since I'm short of time, I was able to generate this particular dashboard. Now, this dashboard is not generated by ChatGPT. This I have done using my basic Excel skills, where I'm seeing what if my marketing approach is aggressive, what if it's moderate, what if there is no marketing. But what ChatGPT gave me was this file of projections. This is a ChatGPT generated file which I've converted into millions, where apparel, footwear, accessories for every year was assessed for different scenarios of what if it's an aggressive marketing, moderate marketing, and no marketing. And all those parameters from inflation to different marketing analysis were considered And I was able to make this dashboard in less than 15 minutes, I would say, by using no coding. So with as my time gets over, I'm up for the questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, CA Shalabh. As we have mentioned it in the past round, that once the data is in Excel, then the magic can happen. And thank you for showing viewers that only with the art and skill of prompting, how we can extract useful information from any generative AI tool. And the same can be then pulled into Excel. And once the data is in Excel, probably we can use the dashboard facilities available in the Excel. And also we can add any integrations if possible to enhance the data. So this can be very useful for those chartered accountants who are into providing management consultancy service, and those who are also into industry, because most panelists usually come with use cases meant for practicing members. This can be a use case more on the industry front.
Since I
Thank you very
myself am
much.
from industry, I think so I heard the needs of the industry people. But I feel
Very
that,
much.
but I feel the practicing chartered accountants with the current financials that we share with our clients can use this as a value-added service. This dashboarding,
Definitely,
which was
definitely. That is
initially
that.
a high code issue, but now it can become a
Yes,
part of a standard template, giving it as
standard
a set
template.
of deliverables.
Very much. So these days, CA's practice have evolved into management consultancy as well, which,
Mhm.
in which area this can be a very handy tool. Thank you so much. So now we shall move on to participant number 5,